Welcome, everyone. Happy to see folks joining for Untapped Potential's skillUP Tech 101. We're happy that you've joined us for this lunch and learn. And we're excited to offer this opportunity both for our Untapped Potential community, including candidates eager to return to work or pivot to their potential, and also mentors and clients that would find this topic valuable. We are so excited to have our technologists from the Walker Group, an IT management services and consulting firm. And I will kick it off by asking you to use the chat liberally. In this dense session during our lunch and learn, we won't have the opportunity to have interaction between candidates and mentors, but we do want you to introduce yourselves. You can include your skill and your background, or your title, and even your LinkedIn if interested. Throughout our Technology 101, Jennifer, give a wave. Jennifer will be fielding the chat for any key questions that you have for our speakers. And we are excited to also introduce Kate, our intern, our marketing intern. Kate, give a wave. And
Hi.
I'm going to kick it off with a little bit about Untapped Potential. Untapped Potential is a Connecticut-based Benefit Corp that was established in 2015. We are advancing business and reigniting careers, all to support gender equity in the workplace, particularly focused on women in senior roles and women in STEM. So we offer these skillUP sessions quarterly on modern topics that may make you think you don't fit in the workplace today. Jargon in terms like AI, Scrum, data analytics, things that you might not have used in the past. And we want you to come back to the workplace with confidence in how you can apply those technologies and tools. And we offer them throughout the year. And we're very fortunate to have the Walker Group here today to support us in topic of the day, AI. So I want to share Untapped Potential. Untapped Potential offers a three-pronged solution to our lack of women in senior roles and lack of women in STEM, particularly offering a network of support with peers, mentors, coaches, skill-up opportunities like you see today. We offer education on workplace tools, online learning and immersion in your subject matter expertise, as well as professional development. I'll ask folks to mute, and Jessica, I'm not sure if you have control of that, but as you go around the circle are really where the rubber meets the road. We are committed to engage women in the workplace at their caliber and help them negotiate to their success. We do that with a flex return, which is a stepping stone back to the workplace or pivoting to a new field, and also direct hire opportunities. And we've done this with a proven process. And you can see some of our live mentor mingling events where industry mentors, many of which are on the call today, help to create a professional environment for our returners to integrate back to the workplace. We actually are the old boys network for women. And we know that 80% of the jobs, even though the job boards have exploded, 80% of the jobs are achieved or acquired through networking. Step two is here's our skillUP opportunity where this one was studying additive manufacturing or 3D printing. And one of our launchers was running the session before she returned at Triumph Group. And then we have a number of success stories where folks have engaged, whether through our flex return or direct hire, and launched to their caliber, finding really where their passion met the workplace of today. And logistically, we seek flexible opportunities where moms can be the parents they want to be, whether they are raising young kids and still want to keep their professional skills up, or getting back after staying in the workplace, but having that dual role that has kept them from reaching their true potential. I do want to highlight, and I can't see, I'm going to click on this before we go to our speakers. I want to just highlight a couple of great success stories. I believe we have Sue. Just raise your hand, Sue for Visionera, and Barbara DiLarero. Raise your hand. Barbara DiLarero runs an amazing IT consulting firm that focuses on many projects throughout the Northeast, and she's 3 times brought on candidates like Sue, who's been there for a couple of years now, and took her former IT skills and had been working in the school system, and then launched with Barbara. And we're excited to have you on the call today, as well as, I'm not sure if I can see, raise your hand, Elizabeth. Let's see if she's joined. Elizabeth Gomez, she is day 2, launching in the finance space. She has an MBA in finance and international relations and launched at a nonprofit, the Villages for Family and Children. And I also see on here, raise your hand, Jessica Cushing, who's doing digital marketing at NEAM. And I think I saw Fran on who launched at another nonprofit, American Mural Project. So happy to see those success stories joining in. And with that, I want to pass it to the Walker Group. We're excited to have both Jessica and Kristen. Jessica has been there supporting our endeavor from the start, and this is the 4th skillUP section that they've done for us, focusing on the office and how to be productive in the office, how to make sure you don't you have the jargon of the day and understand the tools and technologies and can come to the office with confidence. And this is really a practical session, and we're so excited to bring our community, AI for the office. How are they using it today? And demystifying what you might be fearful about it. So with that, I want to pass it to Jessica.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Candace. It's nice to see everyone here today. We've got quite a big group, so this is exciting. First of all, I just wanted to give a quick overview of who the Walker Group is, and Kristen and I will introduce ourselves. So the Walker Group, we are an IT services and digital marketing firm located right in Farmington. So what we do is we work with businesses to help them manage all aspects of IT and technology, help demystify that big topic for them. And that's everything from day-to-day IT support, helping with all aspects of their network, to cybersecurity consulting and strategic planning. And then also within our company, we are also a small boutique marketing agency. So we offer our clients things like web design, marketing strategy, social media consulting, and all other aspects of traditional marketing services. One important thing to note about the Walker Group is we are a social enterprise, a benefit corporation, and last year we became the first perpetual purpose trust-owned company in Connecticut. So that's a lot to say in one sentence, but I hope you'll read a little bit more about us. But basically, all of that means is that we really do believe that business should be a catalyst for good in our community, and we're committed to a minimum of 1/3 of our distributed profits back into the community. So we're just really happy to support local nonprofits and amazing causes around us. Personally, I've been here at the company for 21 years, just celebrated my 21st anniversary. I started as an IT network engineer, and I've seen the company through so many different iterations of growth. And now as co-CEO, I'm really committed to supporting our committed and passionate team, organizational design, culture development, and I really love working with our clients, understanding their business and building long-lasting relationships. So that's a little bit about me, and I'll turn it over to Kristen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to be here and talk. What I love that Candace said was jargon that we're not afraid of anymore as we move forward into this new world of AI and all the things that we're going to learn together today. Like Jess said, I can't say enough about the Walker Group and all the things that we do that are fantastic out in the community. That's always been one of my pride points since I've started working here. So I really love that that is our foundation, and we continue to strive to do that as we move forward. My role here, to speak a little bit more specifically about myself, I do the digital marketing manager. So I do both things. I have an operational side as well as a creative side. My degree is in graphic design. So I still get to dabble in all the fun things, which I'm going to show some of you today, some of those fun things. But specifically, I tend to do a lot of our social media management with our clients. but that doesn't keep me away from strategy and project management and website design and all kinds of different things that we do in the digital marketing space. So I really get to use both sides of my brain, where I get to be creative as well as operational. So it's really a fantastic role for me, and I really enjoy being here. And again, thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm looking forward to going through this webinar with you.
Great. So before we start, I want to say a couple of things. Number one, we are not AI experts. As a matter of fact, I don't think such a person exists. I can tell you what we are is we are technologists, and we're very savvy business people. So we feel like it's our responsibility, especially over the last year or so, that we need to dig in and understand AI. I mean, AI is here to stay. We can't avoid it. We don't have to love it. We can be a little bit afraid. We can be a little skeptical, but we do need to understand it. We need to be curious, and we need to keep learning about it. So we've been watching its evolution. Again, being a technology company and a business consultant, it's very important that we do that. We've been exploring ways it can help us. It can help our clients. We're also learning about the dangers, and we really want to be part of this evolution. So we've been figuring out how it can enhance our lives, save us time, make us stronger, allow us to do better work, but not do the thinking for us. And that's what's really important. So I will say a little disclaimer before we show you some of the benefits and the use cases of AI in the workplace. Just want to stress that it's very important that before you use any of these tools, you understand your company's policy on AI. So they can vary greatly. There's some organizations that have a strict policy of you cannot use generative AI at all, to policies that say, you know, a little bit more permissive stance, you can use it, but you need to be responsible and you need to follow these certain protocols. So make sure you're asking before you use it. Just want to put that out there. You know, it's a great tool, but it can be, there's some legal implications, and we're not lawyers either. So we don't want to be, we don't want to be advising you to use something that's against the company policy. So before we start, and before we get into the demo, because that's really what we're going to do here, is we're just going to show you some things. I want to ask the question, and if everybody can answer in the chat, I want everybody to think about it and type in a one-word answer to describe your personal general feeling about the topic of AI as a whole. So everybody just type in one word into the chat. One word to describe your general feeling on the topic of AI.
Some amazing replies so far.
Okay, this is great. So, interested, distrust, scary, distrust, hesitant, interesting. Okay, so it's scary, excited, helpful. Okay, this is good. This is really, this seems to be, okay, and I'm just going to ask everyone again, if you could just mute your microphone as soon as you join. Thank you. So it seems to be that everybody is a little excited, more hesitant, a little scared, but very curious. And that's kind of where we need to be. So again, the point of today, the demo, is going to be a basic overview of some of the generative AI tools. Now, AI is a very, very broad topic, but we are specifically focused on generative AI. So generating content, generating ideas, generating images, whatever it might be. So if you've used AI before, in any capacity, ChatGPT or any of those tools, some of this might be a little bit of a review. We hope you get more out. We hope you get at least a couple tips or tricks. If you haven't used any of it before, this will definitely open your eyes. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is Microsoft Copilot. One thing to note, if you're a Microsoft user, Copilot is an additional license that adds on top of your 365 license. It is not very inexpensive, but once you see the ability of it, you know, a lot of people do believe it's well worth the cost of the license. So Microsoft Copilot does a lot. We're going to scratch the surface of it today. It does a lot. We have also noticed that It is still being built out literally every day. It is changing every single day. It's still in development and it works really well. I personally have found, I would just share that as much as I use it, it's still a little glitchy. It can be a little slow sometimes. It could be a little unpredictable. Sometimes I have to type in the prompt twice. But overall, you know, I think first world problems, like for the time saver that it presents, it's usually not too much of a big deal. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to show you, we're going to kind of zip through some of the capabilities of Copilot. I'm going to start with Microsoft Edge. So let me pull that in. Okay, so this is the Microsoft Edge browser. Okay, so if you notice, and this icon in the top right corner here, if you look, this little blue icon, that is the Copilot icon that you will see throughout the Microsoft platform. So here I have Copilot open. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you something kind of simple. And if you notice here, there's a web and there's a work. I'm going to start on the web. And if you use something like ChatGPT before, Copilot is very similar in the Edge browser, but I'm going to put it in a prompt because I am now in this world, I'm writing a sales compensation plan and I need a starting point. I need to figure out where this is at. So I'm going to ask Copilot, what are the most important components to put into a sales compensation plan in order to incentivize the right behavior? And I'm going to click submit. And it's going to start its thinking now. And Copilot's going to come back and it's going to generate for me. You can see it's starting to tell me about the design of the plan, about the base salary, about commission, about payout formulas, profit sharing, stock options. So it's just given me a whole lot of information here, right? This is now, I'm not going to copy and paste and do anything with this. This is actually to get me thinking, to start to give me some ideas, some inspiration. So as you could see, quick prompt, it asked me, you know, it gave me some information. I can now do some things with this. I can copy it and paste it into a document. I can export it into a PDF. But as you see, it's a really quick way to get an idea. That's one thing it can do. The other thing I can do is at the top here, you'll see I can click on the compose button. So now I'm switching gears and I'm on the marketing team of my company and I need to write a really quick LinkedIn post that I need to get out today. And I can't, my brain can't think about it. I need a starting point. So I'm going to compose and I'm going to click on LinkedIn post here. And I'm going to say, write about, write a post celebrating National Best Friends Day at work. And I want it to be a casual tone and I want it to be a short post. And I'm going to click generate draft. And here we go. It wrote a post for me with hashtags and all. Now, am I going to copy and paste this? No, I'm not, because I need to read through it and make sure it's what I wanted it to say, that the tone matches my brand, my company tone. But instead of staring at a blank page, all of a sudden now I have a starting point. I can copy and paste it into LinkedIn. I can do whatever I want with it. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not a quick fix said and done. This is your starting point. It helps you get some words on the page so that you can tailor it and make it even better. So instead of taking 25, 30 minutes to write this post and to think about what you want to say, and then by the end of that 25 and 30 minutes, you go, that's good enough, done. You started with a point and you can spend those 25 and 30 minutes making it fantastic and in your own voice and in your own tone, and you're spending time using your brain in a different way. So that's a second thing within the Edge browser. And then the last thing I want to show you is if I go to work here, this one doesn't, this is the one that's a little glitchy, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to say, when I click on the work button, because I use Microsoft all day long for email and Teams and things like that, I'm going, you know, let's just say that I got back from vacation and I'm trying to catch up on my emails. I'm asking it what should be on my radar from emails I received last week. And let's hope this works for the demo. So now it's going through, because it's connected to my Microsoft 365 account, it's going through and it's telling me key things from emails that I should be looking at. I don't even have to go back and read them all, but this might give me a starting point. I'm probably going to read them all anyway, but you can see what a nice recap this is of actionable items. And if I went back, which I have done before, and I've compared it to the actual content of my email box, it is pretty darn close, and it's a huge time saver. So that's the Microsoft Edge browser. The next thing we are going to look at is Microsoft Word, everybody's favorite, Microsoft Word. So I just need to switch screens here. Just give me 1 second. I'm on a Mac, so it's always an extra step. Okay. All right. Everybody sees my Microsoft Word blank screen, the blank screen of lack of creativity. Okay, so one thing I want to mention, I am not going to be showing you how to write a resume or a job description or anything. That is the most common use right now of ChatGPT or Copilot, is writing your resume, writing job descriptions. You should use it for that, but you should be very careful, because there are a lot of AI detection tools out there now that are knowing that you used AI for this. So if you try to write a resume for yourself or write a job description for a job that you're posting for, chances are either an employer or a job engine like Indeed, they're going to recognize that AI was used to create it. Now, if you take the time to customize it and make it your own, you have a much less of a chance. So just know that that is an applicable tool for you, but you need to be a little bit careful. What I'm going to show you, though, is the power of, again, I sit down and I need to get my business plan started for the year. And I'm sitting here like, what? Where do I even start? So if I put, I'm going to give it a prompt, and the more you give it, the better it will do. So I'm saying, create a 4-page draft of a business plan for our IT services and digital marketing company. Put in sections for strategic focus areas, company goals, blah, blah, blah. Focus on creating a superior employee and client experience. And then I'm telling it so it knows a little bit of who we are, that we're a social enterprise. Okay. So I click generate. And again, sometimes you got to be a little bit patient, which is funny because it's probably saving hours of work, and we get flustered when it takes 15 seconds to return something. But so what this is doing for me is it's giving me a starting point. It's giving me a layout. It's giving me inspiration. Am I going to finalize this? Is this my final plan? Absolutely not. But I don't have that panic of a blank page. I have a little bit of, like, there's something psychological about, there's headers, there's different text, there's different, font formatting in it, which is making me happy, right? So I am going to let this work. You could see if you look down here, it's already written 3 pages. I asked it to make it 4 pages long. So I'm going to not move anything, because sometimes Copilot doesn't like when you scroll down the pages before it's done. But we're going to give it another second. And I'm going to show you the second piece of this feature. Okay, we're at 4 pages now, down in the bottom left corner, if you see that. And I'll show you what it looks like. Come on. Okay, so you can see now I have 4 pages. It even suggested goals for me, which I'm probably not going to use, but I might like some of the language. So it's asking me, what do you think? Do you like it? Keep it? Yes. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you know what? I like it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I really want it to be in a different voice. This is talking about the company. I want it to be in first person. So I'm going to say, put this into first person and use language like we and us. Okay. You notice I don't have to be formal. I'm speaking to it like it's a human being. I'm not trying to detect what we want it to say. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to click OK. And now it tells me, OK, I'm refining your draft. And it's rewriting it now with probably very similar, if not the same content. But what it's going to do is it's going to turn it into the plan for our IT services and our company is a social enterprise. So I'm writing it more inclusive to the voice that I wanted it to be. So again, now I have a starting point. again, I'm going to be spending a lot of time modifying it, but I have a great starting point. And if you scroll down, you can see it's pretty good at some of the initiatives that it even suggests. No, all it knows is that we're an IT company and digital marketing firm. We care about our clients, we care about our employees, and we care about the community. And this is everything that it's recommended to me. So it's pretty cool. It's a really great starting point. All right, I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to show you one more feature in Word before we move on. And that is, I'm going to open another document. And take your time, Word. So in this case, what I'm going to be doing is, this is an actual live document walker. It oversees our trust stewardship committee, which is part of our ownership structure. And I'm looking at this going, okay, what does this all mean? So what I can do is I can go into Copilot and I can say to Copilot, summarize this document. Actually, yeah, there's a couple different ways to do this. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Just kidding. What I wanted to do is, see it. Okay, I open Copilot over here. This is my little assistant tool on that side. And this is where I can ask questions about it. And I can just, it even prompts me for it. If you look here, summarize this document. So I don't really feel like reading the whole thing. I just want the cliff notes because I'm in a rush and I'm about to get into a meeting that I'm supposed to know all about the document. Not that I've ever done that. And it's summarizing it for me in a very easy way. It gives me a couple of paragraphs that is actually easier for me to read than the document. Now you can do this you can copy and paste into Word an entire article and say, summarize it for me. You can do that in ChatGPT as well. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. Now this is taking the content of the document and trying to interpret it. Is it 100% accurate all the time? Maybe not, but usually it's worth a try. Okay, so that is Word using Copilot. Now I am going to move into our favorite, which is Outlook. And what I'm going to show you in Outlook is going to show you a couple different ways in which Copilot can help me write emails, which I love to do so much. So, okay, here's my scenario. I'm sitting down with a blank email page and I'm furious at my payroll company. Again, never experienced that before. So I need to write an email to them saying, I'm not happy with the service. I want a copy of my contract. I'm looking to reduce costs. We want to have a meeting about this. Again, is it a difficult email to write? No, but is it going to take me probably 15 minutes to write it? Yeah. Or I can just say, you know what, Copilot, help me out. Write an email to our payroll company asking for a copy. You notice I don't have great punctuation. I'm just blabbing on. It's not really great grammar, but I'm just asking Copilot to help me. And notice it tells me review before you send, like I can't be trusted. So it now suggests, I'm writing to request a copy of our current contract. We're exploring ways to reduce costs and I'd like to review the terms. Additionally, we receive blah, blah, blah. You could see it writes the whole email for me and it tells me anything you'd like to change. And I could say, make it a little longer and more formal. Okay. It's going to revise it for me. It's going to look at it again. It's going to make it a little longer. And now you see it's formalized it a little bit. So again, I can read this through, change a few things around, add, delete, but what could have taken me 15 minutes can now take me 3 minutes. And this is not, to me, this is the easiest use of it because it's not plagiarizing, it's not researching, it's not trying to represent myself as having knowledge that I don't have. This is just smart use of time, right? That's all that this is. So it's taking some tasks that would normally take a lot longer and shortening them. Another thing that you can do in Outlook is if you have an email that you've already written, for example. So this is an email that I wrote to our team, and I'm saying, I want a second set of eyes on it. So I'm going to ask Copilot to coach me on this. So it's going to read the email for me. It's definitely going to tell me if I have any spelling errors, grammatical errors, sentence structure things. But the other thing that it's doing, which is really cool, is it is actually reading things for tone, intention, reader sentiment. So it's saying it conveys enthusiasm. However, it could benefit from a warmer, more personal touch to inspire and motivate the participants. Suggestions: begin with this. So you can tell me it's giving me advice based on the email for tone. If I go down to reader sentiment, it gives me different ideas there. Emphasize the value of the program with phrases like blah. So it's just helping me understand, like another person is reading it and giving me suggestions on what I could do differently. This is where I tend to need the most help on clarity because I can be a little verbose. Streamline the details, condense sentences, consider attaching a detailed program guide. So it's giving a lot of really great insight that you might reach out to somebody else for, but if you're in a rush, you can ask Copilot to be your assistant on that. So that is some of the exciting, and again, I'm scratching the surface on each of these applications in the interest of time because we have a lot to get through, but that is a couple ways you can use Copilot in Outlook. Next, we're going to go to PowerPoint, which is my favorite to demo. Oh, we're already in PowerPoint. Okay, I'm going to start with a blank presentation. Once again, our favorite thing to start with, blank presentation. Oh my gosh, how do I start this? So here's my scenario. I have an intern starting, and I want to an intern starting in the finance team at my company, and I want to give them a quick overview of company finance, like as an educational level. And so I want to create a presentation explaining revenue, expenses, gross margin, gross profit, and what that looks like. But she's starting in 30 minutes, and I need to get this presentation ready. So I'm going to ask Copilot to help me out, and I'm going to say, create a presentation about, and then here, I'm going to say, create a presentation about a high level, exactly what I just said, high level overview explaining revenue, expenses, gross margin. And let's hope it works. So this is going to take a couple seconds longer because, there's a lot to unpack here. But again, I've told it very little information. I've told it roughly how long I want the presentation to be. This is what I mean. Like if I reopen it again, it's probably going to do it. Designer. Stand by. Of course, it did it this morning.
Like any technology, it has its moments.
Yeah, it really does. Huh?
Yes. I promise the end display will be fantastic.
Let me just
It
try
is
one more time.
you. It is replied to you. It says that you'll need to turn on designer.
Yeah, I know, but I pretty sure I have designer turned on because I did this morning. We'll try it one more time. And if not, I can explain it to you. I should have saved the one that it did for me this morning because it was beautiful. So what it does is it's going to create a present. Now where's designer? All right, let's try one more thing in here. But what it actually, so designer, if you haven't used it in PowerPoint, is it actually suggests different design options for you. And that's another amazing thing outside of Copilot. But the other thing you can do is you can take a file and create a presentation from it. So, for example, I'm going to upload our marketing plan And I'm going to ask it now. I hope it doesn't need Designer for this too, because I don't know how Designer got turned off in the last half an hour, but it can take a file, it can read through the file, it creates an outline of it, and then it actually creates a PowerPoint for you. So look at it's reading the file, it's starting to create an outline of it, and then it's hopefully going to generate the actual PowerPoint. And the cool thing is when it does this, it doesn't only create the PowerPoint, but it puts in applicable photos, formatting. It's not just it's not just text slides. It actually puts in, it reads the content and matches up the photos to it. So, okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to come back to PowerPoint. When Kristen's doing her part, I'm going to try to investigate and get Designer turned back on, and then we'll swing back at the end because this is the most impressive. Of course, that's why it's not working. Okay, so now we're going to try, we are going to do Excel. Now, I will say Excel, admittedly, Excel is the Microsoft product that has been least developed for Copilot. However, what it can do is really cool. And what I've found is that again, it's a coach, and it is a helpful way if you are rusty on formulas, if you don't know how to use formulas, if you're confused with how to use Excel, you can ask plain language questions. And in a lot of cases, Excel can help you do something that you might not be able to remember how to do natively within the program. The one thing you have to do is, so this is just an exported table of some, fake data here. So you do have to, in order for Copilot to work in Excel, you have to make it a table. So I'm just highlighting it and I'm saying format as table. So now this is a table, and Copilot can work within it. So if you notice here, as long as I'm in the table, as long as my cursor is somewhere in the table, I can open Copilot on the right-hand side. So my scenario here is that I want to do some conditional formatting, where dollar amounts between a certain numbers are green or red or yellow, and I can never remember how to do conditional formatting. That's actually really true. It takes me forever to figure it out, write the rules. So instead of trying to remember that, I'm going to just ask Copilot if it can maybe help me do that without remembering how to do the formulas. So if you notice, my prompt is create formatting in column B to turn the field green if the amount is over $5,000. Turn it orange if it's between 3 and blah, blah, blah. Turn it red if it's 2. Okay, so I'm just asking it like I would ask a human being. Please work. Come on, Copilot. Don't make me look silly. Okay, so it's understanding my data. Again, it's in a table, so it should be able to read it. And if we watch column B, taking a couple seconds to read it, it's figuring out what to do, trying to keep me in the loop by telling me we're almost there. And now it's making changes to the table. So you could see it pretty much did what I asked it to. So when I first used this feature, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But then I was trying to figure out, let me make this a little bit bigger because I know you guys are looking at it. So I wanted to know, okay, is this just like a static thing, or this number, I know if it was higher, it should be green. So let me make this 6,000. But it is responsive. It's actually putting in the formulas. And over here, it tells you exactly what it did. I made the following changes. I applied a green fill, blah, 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 blah. So again, if you can't remember how to do it, chances are Copilot, if you just ask it for help, it might do it for you. Another prompt I could put in here is, again, this is a pretty simple one, but you never know. I could say, put a formula in column G. So I'm asking it to add a new column. Put a formula in column G that multiplies column B times 12 and call that column annual total. Now, again, we all know that's a pretty simple formula, but for example, I haven't used formulas in a while. I can't remember how to take something and multiply it by 12, but I'm feeling lazy. So now you can see it's thinking about it. It's coming up with suggestions. And this is the cool thing. Before it actually does it, it's going to show me, here's the formula that I did, and here's what it's going to look like. Do you like that, basically? And I say, yes, insert column, and now it did it for me. So again, it's still in development. There's still a lot of things that, it can be glitchy, as we just saw with PowerPoint, but I'll try to fix that. But you don't have to know any specific codes or language. You just talk to it like it's a human. And those are just a couple of ways it can work. So with that, the last thing, and Kristen's going to show you this, within the Microsoft suite that we have found tremendous value in is within Microsoft Teams and Teams meetings. You can turn on Copilot to be your meeting assistant. You might have used this within Zoom or other platforms, but we have gotten into the habit of doing this. So now we turn on Copilot. It is recording and transcribing. And FYI, we have done at Walker a lot of research with Microsoft and its partners to make sure that the security of the transcription and the notes are within the Microsoft tenant. Otherwise, we wouldn't use it. But it takes the notes, and it can, at the end of the meeting, it will create full meeting minutes and recap action items. And the accuracy of it is tremendous. So it's not something we can demo for you right here, but I'll turn it over to Kristen, and she can sort of show you an example of what Copilot did, and certainly better than notes I could take.
Well, thank you, Jess. Appreciate that. Okay, so to get started, I'm just going to go ahead and show and share my screen. But before I do, one of the things that I just want to always add in a little caveat, just for me specifically, is checking the notes. So even though this was generated by Copilot and all the participants did agree to have themselves recorded and everything like that, there is some checking, and you'll even see, I've even written, when I do my file storage, I'll say this was an AI generated note and please check for accuracy. Because one of the things that does happen is, even though Copilot's doing a fantastic job of kind of seeing who's in the meeting room. Oh, Kristen said that. Okay, great. Jessica said that. Okay, Jeffrey said that. It's able to do that, but sometimes it does cross over. So it's important to let this guide you, but understand, again, just like we talked about, just be sure to check it for accuracy. But what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to show you the most current example from a meeting that I had with a client and my team that we were just introducing, kind of talking. And just for privacy reasons, I won't leave this up too long, but this just goes through all of the people and all of the conversations that we had around their marketing strategy and what we're looking to do next for them. And when you look at my notes in comparison, this is great. I mean, like, this is far more detailed, descriptive, and it gives you a lot of information, and it goes back and forth on who was in the meeting and what the conversation was. So this is really a fantastic way to kind of summarize a meeting. But again, I just want to go back to up at the top, I have listed, and even the way that I label it is just, please make sure you're checking, because this was an AI generated meeting recap. But from there, one of the great additional features that it does, like Jess showed you, where you can kind of tell it what to do, it gives me follow-up tasks. And this is extremely helpful. So you can take these tasks, and not only do you have them here in the meeting notes, but you can also then say, okay, and this goes farther down the Copilot and Microsoft Suite rabbit hole, but you can say, put it into tasks and put it into the account and start to manage those to-do items for me. For time purposes, again, today, that's more of a full feature of Microsoft Copilot, but it does at least give it to you here. And you can take these and put them into however you manage your time and day, and whatever system that you use, whether it's a calendar or various ways of putting that in. So going forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys today the ChatGPT, the free version. So I'm going to go into talking about different things about that. And one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a fun example. And the reason that is because then I'm going to bring it back to business. But the first thing I want to do is we're going to go right into using ChatGPT for how do we plan a 10-day Disney World adventure. And there is a free version of this. You can go online, you can sign up with your email for ChatGPT. It's version 3.5. We can provide a link if people haven't already done that, to where you would sign up for this free version. So this isn't something that you have to pay for. This isn't within the Microsoft family. This is strictly something that you can go ahead and type in a URL and sign up through your email. And again, now if you're using this for work purposes, I just want to go back to the original caveat of just making sure that you find out what your work policy is before using it in the workplace. But this, we're going to touch for a few minutes on a personal thing and then how we can kind of bring it over back to business. So one of the cool things is when you're on the ChatGPT site, you can type in, I want to take a 10-day vacation in Disney World, and how can you plan out that itinerary for me? And I use Disney World because that's the most common thing that most people know about, but you can use this for different countries, you can use this for different locations and many fun things like that. So, and it just gives me the itinerary from day 1 to 2 to 3 and all the way down to day 10. What I did past that though was I asked for not only with the itinerary, but my second prompt, because you can piggyback off your first prompt. In my second prompt, I said, give me the links to order tickets, book flights, and hotels, right? So I want, if I'm using ChatGPT to help me, can it help me also book my trip? So then it go ahead and produced all those for me. So it had Walt Disney World, Universal, Google, Expedia, the hotels, all the different additional resources. So again, as we always say, caution if you're using this, make sure the sites are valid, make sure you're doing your own research. But for a great starting point, this kind of can just help you plan your family vacation and take some of that stress out, because there's nothing worse than taking a vacation and then stressing about that planning. So that's kind of just a fun example we wanted to show you today. But one of the ways we can bring it back to business, and again, this prompt was also, again, in the free version. So the 3.5 that anyone can sign up for was, what if I'm having a client event at work and I need some help getting started and I want to do some general planning? So I put in the prompt of plan out, and this is very generic prompt, plan out an in-office event for our clients with cocktails, dinner, a presentation, and thank you gifts. Most of us have probably planned an event or two and know where to start, but just in case we don't, or we don't want to forget anything, this gave me a timeline. So what should I do? Send out invites, get the venue set up, cocktails, dinner service, presentation, thank you gifts, event timeline, and all the way down to even a post-event evaluation. So again, you can take this as far as you want. If I wanted to, I could even type in additional things on this prompt to piggyback it as well and ask it to do additional things. But again, for today, I just kind of wanted to show you that you can do this for both your personal side and your business side within the free version, and using things that can take some of that stress and reduce some of that time that you would normally take hours or days planning out. It can help you with a jumping point. So moving forward, again, additionally into the free version, one of the things that I wanted to show you today from my perspective of where I might use it in my business day-to-day is in social media. I do a lot of social media for us and several of our clients. So sometimes, you know, when you're writing content constantly and trying to stay on trends and come up with new ideas and ways to approach your demographic and who you're targeting, you know, you get a little stuck in your own head and you're like, I got to find ways to think and approach, and I need some starting points, right? So I did it with our website. So I did it with the Walker Group. And the first thing I did was, and this is a really cool feature, you can take a web page and you can ask it to write a social media post. So you're prompted in ChatGPT, and I'm going to show everyone how to use this. You're writing a social media post and you're like, God, I don't know where to start. I know I have so much to say and there's so much great things, but I just don't know where to start. So what I did in this prompt was I put, write me a social media post about this web page. And I used our generic, the Walker Group page. And it gave me just a great synopsis post, right? And again, I'm going to alter this and for tone and that personal aspect and the things that AI can't do for us, right? This is where we're still valid. Our jobs are still safe. There's, you know, we don't want to copy and paste blindly. We want to put in our tone and emphasize what's important and things like that. Again, just to further reiterate how important it is to pay attention to these things. But it really gave a brief, wonderful synopsis, and it can help me get out of my head and kind of go and start jotting down ideas and getting a new space for some social media content and ideas. So that was one of the things that I wanted to show you here, and some ways that it can be helpful to you. You could even go as far as where it took, here is this post here. So I switched it up and I went to our fully managed services page and I said, write me a post about this. So it took all of this information from the page. And again, I'm going to verify that it did. But then I was like, you know what? I don't want it listed out just like kind of in a context, right? I don't want it just this paragraph. I want it to give me a bulleted list. Well, this is great now. So now I can say, okay, fully manages services by the Walker Group. And then I can take this and I can get some ideas and start frameworking and go from there, and just really start looking at it and adding in, like, okay, if I wanted to talk about proactive IT support, I'm going to go to the guys in here, and I'm going to go to Jess, and I'm going to go to Todd, and I'm going to go to my team, and I'm going to say, give me some information and some information. So it's a really great way to help get you there. And then you can also, one of the other great things, I'll just touch on this last bit for the social media side, is you can also ask it to verify and proof what you've written. So say you didn't need ChatGPT today, you were feeling good, your brain was on fire, you were able to write your content, everything was perfect, but you're like, you know what, let me just double check one more time. I just want to make sure before I hit the live button on social that this actually looks good and sounds good. You can take that, you can copy paste it, and you can have it proofread it for you. And if it loves it, it'll say, hey, this is great, post as is. And then if there's alterations to it, it'll say, hey, for a little bit of clarity, or for this link, or try this, and then it'll give you a couple updated versions. So you can do that across the board. And I actually have an example for you in a couple about how that works and stuff like that. So I hope that was something that would be helpful to any of our marketers here. I think that's just a really great way to use it. It's free, but if you are going to use this outside of your personal space for your business, just check with, your company. Again, make sure that they're okay with it. Going back to another business thing that I really love is that I have a company that we work with, and we had to take their month to month and say, okay, when do we want to send out their newsletter? When do we want to send out an email? And when do we want to make different things? We have little promo gifts going out, different things like that. So this was also really helpful and time saving to me, because my prompt initially was, sorry, just give me a quick 1 second. So we had these dates here, and we need to rotate around these dates. And we wanted to make sure that we weren't overwhelming the client list, right? We weren't over emailing them. We weren't sending them too much information, right? There's top of mind awareness, and then there's annoyance. So in marketing, we have to be careful of that, right? So we want to make sure we're not hitting our clients too much in their inboxes, and then they start to spam us and they're annoyed, and then our marketing efforts kind of get wasted. So what we did was we said, okay, we have these emails. We want them to go out every second Tuesday, every second Wednesday, but then we want to add in 2 more in the month, and we want to make sure they don't overlap and we don't overwhelm them. So it gave me the schedule. And then I said, well, that's great, and it's all written out for me, and that's fantastic. But now can you put it in an Excel spreadsheet? So it did, which is absolutely fantastic. So it did it for the remainder of the year. And then I was even able to download that spreadsheet and share it with our client. So our client has seen this, our team has seen this, and this is just helping us make sure we maintain that consistency without over inundating our clients' prospective business people. We don't want, again, like we said, we don't want to obliterate their inboxes. So this is another helpful way that the free version can be used to help simplify your day. So what Jess was showing you with Excel, which is in Copilot, this is very similar, but in a different way, right? In a more, Jess was using it on the financial side. We're using this to help us build out a timeline. So it can give you all different kinds of ways. Don't limit yourself once you're within there to think, oh God, it can't help me, because it can. It's using it to help you save time and build on your time.
So Kristen, just a quick time
Sure.
check. We have about 5 minutes left, and I know we've got a quick wrap up. So maybe just this quick mention, and then the Adobe just a
Okay.
little fun part there, and then we can wrap up.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Jess. And then just why we keep saying, I know it sounds ridiculous, but we keep saying, check your company policy, make sure you're verifying information. I don't know if everybody remembers, but there was the lawyer who used this to save time, and the brief was miscited and he was fired. So those are the kinds of things. And that's why we keep, just keep saying that, because we just want to make sure that we're cautious. We're using AI in a way that's helpful, not in a way that's going to hurt us. And one of the cool things I did is I just said, so I copy and pasted this article and I said, summarize it for me, right? And it did. So it gave me two versions. It gave me, I copied and pasted it, and then it gave me the long version of what it wanted to. And then I said, simplify this explanation for me. And then there it is. So again, you can use this in so many different ways, but I just wanted to show that point. So you saw that example from the lawyer who did lose his job. So just again, be careful in the research space. And then the last thing, sorry to rush and speak so quickly, but in the last part, one of the ways that AI is coming into my world in marketing is through generative fill and design and different things. And we're just having a ton of fun with it. This is the fun part of my job, where I can make these crazy little pictures. And the prompt here was, make it a spring and summer pool with palm trees and snow. And this was the picture that came up. One of the things I do want to show you really quickly is if I click here and I hit generative fill, I'm going to add people, add people to the pool. And then what I'm going to do is it's going to ask me to take my brush, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then what it should do, and it can be really funny. So this is another example of always checking your work, right? It can be really funny. I'm going to hit generate, and it should generate people in the pool for me and go ahead and add them in. And where this could, if it really works and looks great, it could be a time saver, where with most of my marketers and graphic designers know, you got to add in, you got to go find the people, you got to edit, you got to put them in the pool. There's so much work and shadowing that needs to be done. And it did it in a few seconds. This may not be the ideal example and perfect, but I will tell you, I had an image where I had a caution tape across something, and I just needed that caution tape removed. Normally, I would have had to put it in Photoshop and adjust the lighting and do all the things. I did this. I hit generative fill, remove the caution tape, and it did it in under just a few seconds. So again, using it in ways that are effective for time saving in our job. And thank you all for your time. Sorry to rush. I know we're coming close on ending today, but if there's some questions we can answer, please put them in the chat, and we'll go ahead and post meeting answer them. Thank you again, everybody.
Great, thanks. And just so you all know too, in Edge browser, Copilot in the Edge browser also now does some generative art as well. So yesterday I put in, make a picture of an elephant with a mouse on its head wearing a top hat, and within seconds I had that picture. So again, to wrap up on our end, and then I'll let Candace and Jennifer wrap up. Just want to say, remember, like, experiment with this, have fun, be responsible. I think we've said that a few times. Check with your company policy for acceptable use. And for goodness sake, don't plagiarize. Use this as a starting point. When you're using this for, which involves research and facts, you have to do heavy fact checking, because chances are something's going to be incorrect. But when you're using it for things like starting an email and everything, that's when you're really smart to use it. Be very careful on the research side. And the other thing too is, if you're using AI for presentations and data gathering, especially for client services, you probably want to disclose that you're using it. You're going to start to see in some email signatures, AI may have been used to generate this email content. There is a disclosure trend that is happening now as well. And then I have to just show you, because I fixed PowerPoint. I just had to close and reopen it. I'm an IT person. I figured that out. This is the prompt that I put in: create a presentation, high-level overview. And again, the title's not right because I'm going to change it, but it created this beautiful PowerPoint as a starting point for me. And now I can train my intern on revenue, expenses, and gross margin. I mean, again, the times I could slap a logo on it and change a few things around, because this is not a risky presentation. Just make sure that the facts are right. And here you go. So feel better now that I showed you that. So I think I think we're good. So I'll turn it over to you, Candace. You're muted.
I'm going to have you wrap that up and send it to Elizabeth that just launched 2 days ago in a financial role, so
There
she
you
can
go.
have a recap for her work.
Perfect.
I want to pass it to Jessica, but thank you, Jessica and Kristen, thank you so much. This really was a practical showing, and that's what we wanted, not the morals and whether we should use it or not, but how can we gain that productivity and be confident in the workplace and play around with things. I loved it. And Jennifer, passing it to you.
Hi, everyone. I just want to kind of touch on one question that came out. Sue, I saw yours, and Candace had one. We'll have to answer those later, but Jen just wanted to clarify all these Copilot demos are plugins or extra on Microsoft Teams. She just wanted clarification on how you would access.
Yeah, so you do have to, once you have your Microsoft 365 license, you have to get the Copilot license. And once you have the Copilot license, it will start to propagate in all of the Microsoft apps. We do notice though, once, like if I apply the license right now and then I reopen Excel, it might not be in there. It takes about 24 hours for Microsoft to really fulfill its licensing. So it might show up in my Outlook, but it doesn't show up in Excel. You just have to be patient.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Yep.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll send a follow-up email to attendees with the information on the Walker Group and any links supporting what we learned today. Feel free to practice your LinkedIn skills by adding a comment onto the posts where we've talked about this event. It helps our visibility, but also yours as you're trying to be seen in the workplace. Thanks again, Jessica and Kristen, for sharing the info, the demos. Now we know how we can use it both in and outside of a Microsoft Office environment. So that was just really great. And for future events, obviously you all can always go to upotential.org/events to see what we have coming up. Our next learning opportunity is our workup session on interview tips. That'll be August 15th. Followed by a mock interview practice with mentors from 12 to 1. So any of you mentors who want to volunteer for that, feel free. Then we look to September and the kickoff of our fall season. We have a returners accelerator on 9/19, and then another opportunity for mock interviewing before we lead into October, which is where we have our return to work events, which are industry specific, where our clients and companies come together with our candidates for informational, quick speed interviewing. So what's really special about today is that as an organization, we're committed to supporting women returning out of the workforce. And what we want to really show is how you can gain currency and information you need today to compete in today's job market. So this was an excellent example of it. Thank you again to the Walker Group for keeping us informed always on the new and next in tech. We appreciate you sharing with our community a tiny slice of the stuff that you probably do in and out every day. So thank you all for being here.
Great. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you
Great.
all so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks,
Have
Judy.
a great
Good to
day.
see you.
Thank you.